ओके सो हे गाइस, दिस इज़ इजी यूपीएससी। माय नेम इज़ अमितेश। सो आज के इस पर्टिकुलर वीडियो में हम बात करेंगे अरिस्टोटल के बारे में। नो व्हाट आर द क्वेश्चंस विच वी आर गोइंग टू सॉल्व इन दिस पर्टिकुलर वीडियो। सो वी विल सी व्हाट आर द डिफरेंसेस, व्हाट आर द सिमिलरिटीज बिटवीन प्लेटो एंड अरिस्टोटल, व्हाई अरिस्टोटल कंसिडर्ड हिमसेल्फ द ग्रेटेस्ट डिसाइपल ऑफ प्लेटो, what are the major differences between the political theory proposed by Plato and the political theory proposed by Aristotle, why Aristotle considered as the father of political science and why Plato has been considered as the father of political philosophy. Though we have discussed about it in earlier videos when we were discussing about Plato. If you want to check it in detail, I'll put the link in the description box so you can visit over there. Now let's begin with Aristotle, the political theory of Aristotle. Now before getting into something big, we first introduce that thing. So we'll introduce Aristotle in a short way. So Aristotle, he was born in Athenian family in 304 BC. Sorry, it's 384 BC. 384 BC in Athens. He was considered as the father of political science. Now this is important. Why he has been considered as the father of political science? Because his nature was more pragmatic and more practical, and for that he studied almost 158 constitutions, though not throughout the world. It basically coincided with Greek world. So he totally read almost 158 constitution in Greek world, and on the basis of that study, he compared the different political system, different government structure, different administrative processes of different area, and on the basis of that he proposed a different sort of practical theories about which we will discuss later. That's why he has been considered as the father of political science. Now about it we have discussed earlier, so you can visit over there also. Now his father was a physician. As his father was a physician, so he used biological and medical method to explain his point of view. In the theory of form, where he discussed about the matter and the form, and form is immanent inside the matter, he used the examples of medical sciences also. So about that we will discuss later. Now he considered himself the greatest disciple of Plato because he modified the Plato. He modified multiple theories of Plato. As you know, Plato was an idealist person, but Aristotle was a pragmatic and practical person. So there are major differences about which we'll conclude later in the videos. Like when we'll be finishing, when we'll concluding the Aristotle's whole theory, we'll discuss about this particular thing, that why he considered himself the greatest disciple of Plato. Now he was more practical in nature, as I told that he studied almost 158 constitutions in the Greek world. Now according to him, one should not sacrifice his life to political philosophy. According to him, philosophy can only provide general guidance. More than this, it should not attempt. Now what is the meaning of this particular statement? This is very important statement because it shows the categorical difference between Aristotle's political theory and what was the mind, what was the theory proposed by Socrates through Plato. That means everything which we know about Socrates, it was from the mouth of Plato. So basically the person, Socrates person, was forced to die because of his political philosophy. Actually what is happening, what was happening at that particular time, Socrates was a very idealist person. He used to roam here and there, and with the process of dialectics, with the method of dialectics, as I told about it, as I discussed about it, what is dialectics? So dialectics is basically logical argumentation. Two people are sitting around and they are discussing about something. Someone is talking, one of that both person is talking positive about something, and one is talking about negative of something. Now I think you don't understand. Let me give you an example. Suppose there are two persons sitting at some place and they are discussing about form law. So someone is saying that government is doing this thing, it should modify this little thing in the form laws, then it will become more better. Now other person is saying that government is not performing his duty, this form laws should be repealed, or if government don't want to repeal it, do 2 or 3 changes, 5 changes in this particular formula, and then it will be able to implement this in the whole society. So what is happening here? Two thesis and antithesis are intermixing. Both people are doing logical argumentation, and out of it a new thing is emerging, that whole formula should not be repealed, and there must be some changes, 6 or 7 changes. If government will be able to do it, then farmers are going to ultimately accept it. So this is the dialectical process. It's not that cliche. It's a very complex and cumbersome process in which almost everyone is sitting and they are discussing about an ethical principle, because the tradition of Socrates, the Socrates method was ethical. He always talked about human ethics. Now what is ethics? So I'll talk about later, because you are going to see about the ethics. You are going to study about the ethics, theory of ethics in the theory of form in next 2 or 3 slides. So we'll discuss about it later. Now what is the meaning of here? What is the meaning of this particular statement that one should not sacrifice his life to political philosophy? Because for the adopting the method of dialectics, Socrates was considered as a traitor, और दैट मीन्स वो लोगों को भड़का रहा है इस काइंड में. वहाँ के जो किंग्स थे, द किंग ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर टाइम पीरियड, उस एरिया के, जिस एरिया में सोक्रेटिस बिलोंग करते थे, कि सोक्रेटिस वाज रोमिंग ओवर देयर एंड ही इज ट्राइंग टू instigate the youth against the king, and that's why he was imprisoned, and then ultimately he hanged till death. So this happened with him, and ultimately he said that one should sacrifice his life for his political philosophy. Basically आप ये कह सकते हैं कि हर व्यक्ति को अपने प्रिंसिपल्स के लिए जान भी दे देना चाहिए. दैट मीन्स उनके प्रिंसिपल्स खत्म ना हो, उनकी फिलॉसफी खत्म ना हो, भले उनकी जान चली जाए. सो ऐसा था कुछ उनका फिलॉसफी. बट व्हाट अरिस्टोटल सेड, दैट अरिस्टोटल सेड दैट one should not sacrifice his whole life for political philosophy, because political philosophy is not that important to your life. Yeah, it provides certain guidelines ki yeah, you should think like this, you should behave like this, the government should be like this, what are the changes should be proposed in the government. But the whole life of a person should not be sacrificed for that mere political philosophy, because a person is not a idealist person, is not a dumb person. A person is a practical person, very pragmatic person. He think about what is suitable for him, what is not suitable for him, and if there is something bad in the life of that administrative process or in the system of the state, it should be changed, it should be improved, rather repealing it, rather eliminating it fully. We should try to bring some changes and try to modify it. So this was the theory of Aristotle. Now political science is not precisely a theoretical science, rather it's a practical science, deal with practical people. As I told you that he studied almost 158 constitution, and on the basis of the comparison of those constitution, he was able to bring the practical changes in the society, in the administrative process, or you can say the state machinery of that particular Athenian society. Now here's the main thing. What was the purpose of Plato? He wants to make Athens an ideal state. Now ideal state means what? Like a state which is based on the principles of justice, pure justice. But what was the purpose of Aristotle? The main purpose of Aristotle was not to change it radically. He basically want to bring some modification, bring some changes. That means changing the bad things of the government and trying to bring new things, bring justice in the same particular regime. That means let me give an example. If there is a party on the let us suppose BJP is ruling on the Athenian society. What was the need? What was the want of Plato? Plato want to change it radically, like eliminate both BJP and Congress, and try to bring something new in the sense ki bring a monarch kind of. Let us suppose bring Modi ko le aado government mein. Modi is a philosopher king, he knew each and everything, he know the real form of justice. So bring Modi on the regime, और उनके पास कोई restriction नहीं रहेगा, he can do whatever he want to do. The only thing which he cannot do, he cannot change the constitution. So this was the philosophy of, I'm giving you an example of Plato. Now what Aristotle wants? Aristotle wants, whether it's BJP or Congress, the impurities, the bad things and good things are always there. What we need to do is to change the bad things. It is to bring some new changes, bring some new good things, bring some new reforms in that particular political regime, and try to improve the situation. This was the condition of Aristotle. Now we will discuss about differences and similarities between Plato and Aristotle. Now, what are the similarities? So first of all, both equated poverty with ignorance. Now, what is the meaning of this? So at that time period in the Athens, there were two class of people fighting with each other, as we discussed in the Plato's political theory: sophist and poor people. Like what was who were sophist? Sophist was basically the ruler of the society, and poor people are the poor people, obviously. So both are fighting with each other for the power, hungerness. They want to gain. They want to acquire that powerful position. That means the rulership of the society. Sophists were always there. They are working for their self-interest, and because of that, poor people were against them. Poor class were against them. Basically, both were fighting, and because of that, Athens was defeated in Peloponnesian War by Sparta. Now, this theory was considered by Plato because he thinks the main reason behind the defeat of Athens was the ignorance of people, ignorance of poor people, and ignorance of rich people, obviously the sophist person. So this is the meaning of this particular lines. That means poverty with ignorance, both equated poverty with ignorance. Now, they gave primacy to state over individual. Now, this is important. What is the meaning of this? That means both, whether it's Socrates or whether it's Aristotle or whether it's Plato, they gave primacy to state because they always talked about the reforms which should be brought inside the state or state machinery. Plato talked about philosopher king. That means Athens should be based on the principles of justice, and a philosopher king can only make Athens an ideal state. So for that, he brings the theory of communism. That means the children should be acquired in the childhood from the ruler class, and they should be trained for throughout the life. They should be removed from their family. So this was a little bit insane, but they are totally focused on state machinery. They are totally focused on the betterment of a state. They never coincide, never try to consider the human rights. So this was the main purpose of Plato. And if you talk about Aristotle, so Aristotle also gave the major primacy on the state, because ultimately you will see that the theory of form was basic motive. The basic motive behind the theory of form is to bring people in the political discussion in the state, in the society, about which we will see later. Please remind it. Please mind it here. Please remind it here. Okay. They lack faith in masses. Obviously, they lack faith in masses because Plato always talked about a philosopher king. A single person can improve the situation, can make Athens an ideal state. Similarly, when we will discuss about the theory of state of Aristotle, we will see that he talked about monarchy is the best form of the state, and polity is the best practical form of the state, where few people rule. So exactly, they lack faith in masses. They always focused on a single person or a group of people. Similarly, their critique of sophist tradition. Now, what was sophist tradition? So basically, sophists were the ruler class of that particular Athenian society. They always focused on their self-interest. They work only for their self-interest. So basically, they were against the sophist tradition. Now, they belong to Socrates tradition. Sorry, this spelling is wrong here. Socrates. What is the meaning of Socrates tradition? So as I discussed earlier in this video, that means Socrates belonged to ethical nature of the state, ethical nature of the people. He always talked about ethicality. That's why he has been considered as the father of human ethics. So they belong to ethical class. They belong to Socrates tradition, because whatever Plato proposed was totally based on Socrates' theory of knowledge and theory of ethics. Similarly, you will see Plato also proposed on the theory of ethics and theory of form of the Aristotle and Plato. On the Socrates and Plato. Similarly, they believed in natural inequality. That means they always talked about their activities were always based on human merits. That means one should do those things for which he is capable. That means he never talked about that someone should be forced to do something. If he is capable to do that, let him do, or train him to do that. As we discussed, like only guardian, Plato proposed that only guardian class, the people with the virtue of reasoning, virtue of rationality, should only rule on the society. So that was the major meaning of behind the believed in natural inequality. Now, what are the differences? So Plato was idealist. What is the meaning of idealist? That means proposing some idea which he want to implement in the society. That means idea of making Athens an ideal state, and for that bring absolute justice in the society. So this is a sort of idealistic thing. Now, what is the meaning of pragmatic, which was Aristotle's characteristic? So pragmatism means what? Practical thing. Practicality with some ideas. That means those ideas which can be implemented, which is a practical thing. Now, let me give you an example. Idealism. What is the meaning of idealism? So, on the verge of independence, in 1947, when we got independence, our forefathers, our freedom fighters gave us an light of, gave us an idea or dream of bringing secularism, bringing socialism, bringing fraternity, bringing equality, all kind of equality. That means equality of status, opportunity, promoting each and every person to their merits, and also providing reservation. Then they talked about justice. There will be justice in the society, social justice, economic justice, political justice. Also, there will be liberty in the society, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship. Kind of these are ideas which are near impossible to achieve in the society. So basically, these are only ideas. These are normative things which is impossible, or you can say which is very near impossible to achieve. So these are the ideas. Similarly, Plato wants to make Athens an ideal state, which is impossible to make any state ideal. But Aristotle always talked about pragmatic things. That means bring some changes, try to modify the bad things in the society, bad thing in the state machinery, state administrative process. Then you will be able to make Athens near to perfect state, not perfect state. Now, Plato was perfectionist, as I told you, but Aristotle was a golden mean person. That means he always talked about moderation, not extremes, two extremes. That means he never talked about perfection. One cannot make any state a perfect state. Yeah, you can do some changes, you can do some modifications, and then you will be able to run on a path of moderation, run on the path of mean. We'll see this later when we'll discuss about theory of form and theory of state. Now, Plato was a radical person. Radical means talking about those changes which is near to impossible. That means, and proposing that idea. That means he want to make Athens an ideal state. That's a radical change. Radical change he want to sought for. Now, he talked about Aristotle was more conservative. More conservative means what? As I said, that he don't want to change things. As I gave you the example of BJP and Congress. What Plato want? That he want to remove both Congress and BJP from the rulership and bring some new person. But Aristotle was conservative. He said that if BJP or Congress is ruling on the society, let them do. But what we need to do is bring some changes. If there are bad things, if there are some drawbacks in their political regime, try to modify that. Try to change that. Don't change the whole government. So that means he was a little bit conservative. That means he was a little bit conservative to the changes, to the radical changes. Now, Plato talked about ultimate knowledge, and Aristotle talked about common sense. When we discussed about, we were discussing about actually the Plato's theory of form. Please mind it. We talked about that. The meaning, the definition of justice which we know currently, as Plato said, that which we know usually is not the real knowledge. The real knowledge, or you can say the real idea, real form of justice is somewhere else, about which we have to think. Now, अब उन्हीं को पता होगा कि somewhere else वो कहाँ है. बट उन्होंने कहा कि अपने दिमाग में इमेजिन करो कि हाँ कहीं और है जिसे हमें जानना होगा, दैट्स अ रेडिकल थिंग, दैट्स अ very perfect thing, which is the perfect form of justice, which is the perfect definition of justice, which is never we'll never be able to do that, we'll never be able to achieve that. और उन्होंने उसके बाद ये कहा कि फिलोसोफर किंग केवल उस चीज़ को समझ सकता है, और अगर फिलोसोफर किंग ही उसको समझ सकता है तो he'll be able to make Athens an ideal state. So he talked about ultimate knowledge, which is impossible. Now Aristotle talked about common sense. Obviously कोई भी एक नॉर्मल पर्सन होगा वो यही कहेगा कि यार उसको चेंज करने से बेटर है किसी चीज़ को उसमें कुछ चेंजेस ला दो, अगर कोई दिक्कत है उससे पूरी चीज़ तो ख़राब नहीं होगी, अगर कुछ दिक्कत है उसमें चेंज लाओ, उसे चेंज करो और फिर चीज़ें बेटर होंगी, चीज़ें सुधर जाएंगी. सो बेसिकली Aristotle talked about common sense. So these are the differences and similarities. Now let me revise it again. So both equated poverty with ignorance. They gave primacy to state over individual. They lacked faith in masses. Both were critique of sophist tradition. They believed in natural inequality, and they belonged to Socrates tradition. Plato was an idealist, perfectionist, radical, and ultimate knowledge person. Now Aristotle was pragmatic, golden mean person, conservative, and common sense. He believed in common sense. Now this was the sort of introduction of introduction of Aristotle. Now we will jump into the political theory of Aristotle. Actually, Plato is very common, because of that I'm reiterating it again and again. So let's jump into the theory of form. Now this is very important because the whole theory of Aristotle and also the whole theory of Plato was totally dependent on theory of form or idea. Now we are discussing about Aristotle, so we will see the theory of form of Aristotle was basically the modification, or you can say basically the cumulative process of two theories, theory of development and theory of ethics. Now what is the theory of development? So basically the theory of development means the things, anything in this life develop to its own perfection and completeness. That what is the meaning of this particular line? So let me give you an example. Suppose there is an acorn, or you can say any mango. Actually this example was given by Plato, so that's why I inducted it here. But suppose there is a seed of mango seed. Now what is the purpose of this seed to fulfill? It will grow into a tree. This is the purpose, this is the ultimate destination of a seed in the life. But what is important is a mango seed can only be converted, or can only be developed in a mango tree if certain conditions were provided. That means उसको proper ज़मीन में डाला गया, उसे proper light मिली, proper water मिला, अच्छी मिट्टी में डाला गया था. Then he will be able to generate, then he will be able to develop in a fully mature tree. Now what is important here? The process is important. This process is important, and this the teleos, the destiny of that particular person is important. See, there is two theories: teleological theory. In ethics, there is two theories: teleological and deontological theories. Both have different meaning. Teleology talked about destiny. अगर आपकी destiny ये है, then you have to meet that. And अगर now suppose if you want to become an IS officer, UPSC, if you want to clear an UPSC, and your ultimate destination, your teleos is becoming an IS officer, you will do cheatings, each and everything. You'll adopt every kind of measures to become an IS officer, whether it's good or bad. This is teleological approach, totally focusing on the end. But the other idea is deontological approach. Deontological approach means what? Mean defined the end. That means, yeah, if you want to become an IS officer, do hard work, adopt the proper process, adopt an ethical process to achieve that end. That means also important. Means the rasta bhi important hai, end bhi important. That is the meaning of deontological approach. So basically Aristotle was a proposer of teleological approach. So he said that the teleology of a mango seed is a mature mango tree, but what is important is the process through which it is going through. दैट मीन्स व्हाट आर द नेसेसरी कंडीशंस, पानी दिया गया, मिट्टी दी गई अच्छी, उसे सनलाइट मिला, तभी वो एक मेच्योर ट्री में कन्वर्ट होगा. सो दिस वॉज द theory of development. Now, so the purpose of this theory is to explain the process and the purpose it serves. That means the process and the ultimate destination. Now, this is the theory of development. On this theory of development, he proposed the theory of ethics, and on the theory of ethics, he proposed the theory of form. Now, we will discuss about theory of ethics. So, what was the theory of ethics? So, every human being behave according to certain moral principles, which is important for their development towards their certain end. Now this is important. Now for that, let me give you a detailed example. Suppose you are a person and you think that if rather using the word think, you do logical argumentation, you do some logical reasoning, or you can say you are a rational person, you are doing some logical reasoning that if I'll become, or if I'll induct the habit of courage in my life, if I'll induct a habit of courage, that means if I'll become a courageous person, then my life will become very happier. I'll become very happy person. Everything will be good. Now, this is your thinking. Now, this meaning that every human being behave according to certain moral principle, which is important for their development towards their certain end. Certain end means you want happiness in your life, and for that you are thinking that a courage can bring happiness in your life. If you will become a courageous person, you will become happy. Now, if a unknown person, a stranger which don't know about you, want to know about your behavior, what will he do? Know about your this characteristic of courage, what you want to achieve in your life. What will he do? He'll just analyze your behavior, what you are doing in your day by day life, what you are doing, what are the tasks you are performing in your life, what are the things which you are doing to achieve your ultimate goal. That means he think that your ultimate goal is okay to achieve happiness. So for that, what you are doing, that person will analyze your day-to-day behavior, and ultimately he'll find that okay, so you want to become a courageous person. Yeah, so there is courage in your life, and that will give you the ultimate happiness in your life. So this is the analysis of that particular person towards you. Now, so to know about that ethical moral principle, we should analyze his behavior according to the end goal or end of his life. This is the theory of ethics of Aristotle. Now, as we would study a biological organism by analyzing his biological makeup and purpose it want to serve, we find the biological humanness present inside that person. Now, अभी हमने पहले स्लाइड में डिस्कस किया कि as the Aristotle's father was a physician, so he inducted the medical science rules in his theories. So वहाँ पे जो हमने लाइन डिस्कस की थी उसका मतलब हम यहाँ पे समझेंगे. That means he gave an example that कि if you are trying to study any biological organism, whether it's animal, whether it's a person, whether it's a plant or flower. Now let me give an example. If you want to study about dog, a biological organism, by analyzing his biological makeup, that means what he is doing biologically, what is the physical structure, what was the biological process happening inside him, what are the things which he is doing, and purpose it want to serve, we find the biological humanness present inside that person. Similarly, I am talking about dog here. So he want to purpose. He want a purpose to serve. What is that purpose? That dog is to care about you. जैसा कि बोला जाता है कुत्ते बड़े वफादार होते हैं. Now, तो अगर आप उस कुत्ते के बारे में स्टडी करोगे, उसके बायोलॉजिकल मेकअप के बारे में स्टडी करोगे, उसके साथ आप रहोगे, तो आपको अल्टीमेटली पता चलेगा कि जो उसकी वफादारी है वो उसके अंदर ही है, इनहेरेंट है. हाँ, जब तक आप उस कुत्ते के साथ नहीं थे, यू आर नॉट एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट थिंग, दैट वफादारी. बट जब आप उसके साथ रहोगे, उसकी चीज़ों को स्टडी करोगे, तो अल्टीमेटली आपको पता चलेगा कि दे आर वेरी फ्रेंडली टू द पीपल, दे आर वेरी फ्रेंडली टू ह्यूमन बीइंग, एंड दे आर वेरी वफादार पर्सन. वो बहुत वफादार हैं आपके प्रति. तो दिस इनहेरेंट कैरेक्टरिस्टिक ऑफ डॉग विल ओनली बी एबल टू इमर्ज आउट व्हेन यू विल स्टडी अबाउट दैट डॉग. सो दिस इज द बायोलॉजिकल मेथड. So he inducted this theory in his theory of ethics, and he said that if you want to know about the major characteristic of a person, listen, first of all he said that कि हर आदमी, every person perform his task based on certain moral principles, certain ethical principles. Now here's the very confusion: what is the morality and what is the ethics? I'll discuss about it right now. But first of all, let me talk about theory of ethics. So every human being behave according to certain moral principle. Like हर आदमी किसी ना किसी एक moral principle पे काम करता है. एक ethical आदमी, ध्यान दीजिएगा, a ethical person. Okay, let me explain what is the meaning of ethics and morality. What is morality? First of all, morality means what? Now suppose I'm a person, मैं एक आदमी हूँ. I think सुबह जल्दी उठना is very good thing. और a person, एक आदमी जो सुबह जल्दी नहीं उठता है, जो दिन में 12 बजे उठता है, is not a good person. Is not a good person. What is this? This is morality. Morality means what? कि मेरा ये मानना है, this is my standard. That means सुबह जल्दी उठना is a good thing, and a person is not doing that is a bad person. But this thing is not applicable on all person. हाँ, यहाँ बाहर कुछ और भी लोग होंगे जो ये सोचते होंगे कि यार सुबह जल्दी उठ के क्या करेंगे, दिन में आराम से 11 बजे तक सोते हैं बट फिर पूरी रात पढ़ेंगे, तो उनके लिए वो सही होगा. सो दिस इज मोरालिटी. मोरालिटी मीन्स वॉज अ परसेप्शन, अ थिंकिंग ऑफ अ इंडिविजुअल. इंडिविजुअल मीन्स हर एक आदमी की अपनी सोच कि हाँ उसके लिए ये सही है और जो ये काम नहीं कर रहा है वो गलत है. दैट मीन्स दीज आर स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन फॉर जजिंग समवन. दैट मीन्स कि या spitting on the road is bad for me, so is bad for everyone. But India में spitting on the road is not a bad thing because सब लोग थूकते हैं रास्ते पे. तो these are the standards for judging someone, for analyzing someone कि yeah he is doing good thing or bad thing. This is highly subjective and abstract in nature because it totally depends on your thinking. Now for this let me give you another example. Suppose you are a person, you don't eat non-veg. Now you think that non-veg खाना जानवरों के साथ गलत है, जानवरों के साथ atrocities है, you don't eat. So you think a person who is eating non-veg is highly unethical and highly immoral person. That means highly bad person. So this is standard what you said that कि मेरे लिए non-veg खाना गलत है, so जो इसको खाता है वो गलत है. तो ये आपका स्टैंडर्ड हुआ. बट बाहर कुछ और भी लोग ऐसे हैं कि आई एम डूइंग लॉट ऑफ वर्कआउट, मैं बॉडी बिल्डर हूँ, मुझे प्रोटीन चाहिए तो मैं नॉनवेज खाऊंगा. सो दिस इज मोरल फॉर मी, दिस इज इथिकल फॉर मी. सो दिस इज द मीनिंग ऑफ मोरालिटी. नाउ व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ इथिक्स? सो बेसिकली इथिक्स इज द स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑफ द सोसाइटी. नाउ फॉर दिस लेट मी गिव एन अ वेरी क्लीन एग्जाम्पल. राजा राम मोहन राय के टाइम पीरियड में सती प्रथा वॉज हाईली इथिकल थिंग. बट इथिकल मीन्स वॉट? सभी लोग को सती प्रथा से मंजूरी थी, सभी लोग सती प्रथा को मानते थे कि हाँ अगर किसी औरत का पति मर जाता है तो उसे जला दो उसके साथ. दैट वॉज इथिकल, दैट ट्रेडिशन वॉज इथिकल इन द सोसाइटी. लोग उसे सही मानते थे. बट वॉट हैपेंड? राजा राम मोहन से मोरालिटी मीन्स उनकी अपनी सोच कि सती प्रथा बहुत ही गलत है, इसे चेंज करना चाहिए. दैट मीन्स उनका मानना गलत था, लेकिन स्टेट का मानना ये था कि सती प्रथा सही है. तो स्टेट द सती प्रथा वॉज इथिकल एट दैट पर्टिकुलर टाइम, बट इन द पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू ऑफ राजा राम मोहन राय इट वॉज हाईली इमोरल. तो हुआ क्या? मोरालिटी एंड एथिक्स कॉन्फ्लिक्टेड विथ ईच अदर एंड द मोरालिटी ऑफ राजा राम मोहन राय प्रिवेल्ड ओवर द सोसाइटी एथिक्स, सोशल एथिक्स और सोसाइटल मोरालिटी. सो इस तरह से तो एथिक्स मीन्स क्या हुआ? एथिक्स हुआ सोसाइटी के स्टैंडर्ड्स लोगों को जज करने के लिए, लोगों को सही या गलत मानने के लिए, ना ही लोग किसी प्लेस को, किसी वस्तुओं को सही या गलत मानने के लिए. ना आपको एक और एग्जांपल देता हूँ मैं. नाउ ऐसा हुआ कि स्पेन की बात कर लेते हैं और या फिर स्कैंडिनेवियन कंट्रीज़ की बात कर लेते हैं. स्कैंडिनेवियन कंट्रीज़ में सड़क पे थूकना, स्पीडिंग ऑन द रोड इज़ हाईली अनएथिकल because the tradition of the society considered it's wrong. That means पूरी सोसाइटी से गलत मानती है. बट इंडिया में ऐसा नहीं है. इंडिया में सड़क पे थूकना इज नॉट अनएथिकल. दो इट्स नॉट इथिकल ऑल्सो बट इट्स नॉट अनएथिकल। आप सड़क पे थूक सकते हैं, कोई आपको कुछ बोलेगा नहीं। हाँ, कुछ स्टेट्स हैं जैसे वेस्ट बंगाल हुआ या फिर आपका केरला, यहाँ पे रोड पे थूकना गलत मानते हैं, बट स्टिल थ्रू आउट इंडिया इट्स नॉट अनएथिकल थिंग, दो इट्स नॉट इथिकल थिंग ऑल्सो। हाँ, प्लीज माइंड इट। सो दिस इज द मीनिंग ऑफ एथिक्स एंड मोरालिटी। सो वही कहते हैं अरिस्टोटल कि एवरी ह्यूमन बीइंग बिहेव अकॉर्डिंग टू सर्टेन मोरल प्रिंसिपल, किसी एक मोरल प्रिंसिपल के अकॉर्डिंग काम करता है। हो सकता है वो मोरल प्रिंसिपल ऑनेस्टी हो सकती है, किसी की ट्रुथफुलनेस हो सकती है, सच बोलता है हमेशा, कोई नॉन वायलेंस को फॉलो करता है, दिस इज द मोरालिटी, और विच इज़ इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर देयर डेवलपमेंट टुवर्ड्स देयर सर्टेन एंड। जैसे गांधी जी हो गए, गांधी जी ने हमेशा सत्य और अहिंसा पे काम किया। सो व्हाट वाज द अल्टीमेट टीलियोस, व्हाट वाज द अल्टीमेट डेस्टिनेशन ऑफ गांधी जी? he led the India liberated, he bring the independence in India. So to know about that ethical moral principle, we should analyze his behavior according to the goal and in his life. That means अगर हमको गांधी जी के उस सत्य और अहिंसा के बारे में जानना है तो हम क्या करेंगे? हम उनके डे टू डे लाइफ को बिहेवियर को एनालाइज करेंगे। वी शुड एनालाइज। दैट मीन्स उन्होंने चंपारण सत्याग्रह किया, उन्होंने सिविल डिसोबीडियंस मूवमेंट किया, he brought the non cooperation movement. So these are the satyagrah, these were the satyagrahas based on non violence and truthfulness. So अगर हमें उनके ethical principle, if you want to talk about his moral principles or ethical principle, we should analyze his behavior. Now similarly, on the analysis of ethical human behavior, we find the virtue of justice or any other virtue inside the person. दैट मीन्स अगर हम किसी के बिहेवियर को एनालाइज करते हैं तो हम उस वर्च्यू को, वेदर इट्स वर्च्यू ऑफ जस्टिस और एनी फॉर्म, एनी आइडिया, उसको हम देखेंगे कि वो उस आदमी के अंदर ही है, बस हमें उसे फिगर आउट करना है। सो दिस इज द थ्योरी ऑफ एथिक्स। आई होप यू अंडरस्टैंड। नाउ लेट मी टॉक इट इन अ नटसेल। दैट मीन्स हर एक आदमी किसी एक सर्टेन प्रिंसिपल पे काम करता है और उसे कोई एक गोल अचीव करना होता है लाइफ में। नाउ अगर आपको अपने लाइफ में नौकरी पानी है तो द पंक्चुअलिटी एंड कंसिस्टेंसी मस्ट बी देयर। तो आप पंक्चुअलिटी और कंसिस्टेंसी और हार्ड वर्क पे काम करेंगे। नाउ इफ़ यू वांट टू एनालाइज अबाउट दिस थिंग, इफ़ यू वांट टू नो अबाउट दिस थिंग, हम आपके डे टू डे बिहेवियर को एनालाइज करेंगे। दैट मीन्स आप सुबह डेली बैठ जाते हो पढ़ने, रात में देर रात तक पढ़ते हो, एकदम टाइम से कंसिस्टेंट होकर डेली पढ़ते हो, तो हम जानेंगे कि आपका कैरेक्टरिस्टिक है पंक्चुअलिटी, कंसिस्टेंसी। सो दीज आर द योर कैरेक्टरिस्टिक एंड अल्टीमेट गोल इज टू गेट सम नौकरी, टू गेट सम जॉब। सो सिमिलरली जो इथिकल पर्सन होता है, इथिकल पर्सन भी उसके अंदर भी कोई एक इथिक्स होता है, वेदर इट्स जस्टिस, उसको लगता है कि करेज या फिर जस्टिस अगर हम अपनी हैबिट बना ले तो आई विल बी एबल टू अचीव सम द डिजायर्ड गोल इन माई लाइफ। सो दिस इज द थ्योरी ऑफ एथिक्स ऑफ अरिस्टोटल। नाउ this theory of development and the theory of ethics led us to the theory of form. Now this is important. Now what we discussed in theory of ethics, that everything is inherent a particular person. Similarly, he objected the Plato's separation of form from matter. जैसे कि Plato talked about कि form is transcendental because matter changes, and since form is perfect and unchangeable, so form and matter cannot be united. That means this matter of this particular earth is always changes, but the real knowledge, the real form never change. It's a perfect form, so it will be universal, it will be same throughout the time period, throughout the world. So that's why a form and matter cannot be get together. So that was the thinking of Plato. But what Aristotle talked about here, Aristotle said that matter and form both are inside each other. That means form is inherent in the matter. जैसे कि हमने ethics में बात किया कि the ethical thing is inherent in that particular person. If we want to know about that, we should analyze his behavior, or you can say a person, if a person want to generalize, realize that particular form, he has to think about it, he has to logically reason about it, and then he has to act upon that. Then he will be able to induct that virtue, that value, whether it's courage, whether it's justice. So Aristotle said that matter and form is potentiality and form is actuality. Potentiality means what? कि matter is potential. आपके अंदर वो पोटेंशियल है, दैट मीन्स एक मैंगो सीड इज़ अ पोटेंशियलिटी and it has potential to change into mango tree. So this is actuality, this is form. Mango tree is a form and the seed is matter. Now what is important, this process is important and this process must be analyzed on the basis of the end, what you want to serve. So matter is potentiality but it developed toward form or actuality with proper condition given. Every human being inherently manifests the form of humanness. हर आदमी के अंदर ह्यूमननेस होती है, बट व्हाट इज इम्पॉर्टेंट इज टू रियलाइज दैट इन ह्यूमननेस इनहेरेंट इन दैट पर्टिकुलर पर्सन एंड हाउ ही कैन रियलाइज दैट, सो थ्रू प्रोसेस. So things develop towards their own perfection, but what is important is the process and the purpose it serves. That's why he insisted that science of any subject matter must be teleological. That means आप किसी भी सब्जेक्ट को पढ़ना चाहते हो, whether you are reading political science, whether you are trying to understand politics or ethics or anything, your knowledge should be based on the teleological, your teleos, that means the ultimate thing which that subject want to serve. Now यहाँ पे हम देखते हैं कि Aristotle on ethics and politics. Now his theory of ethics and politics, how they are correlated. Now ethics and politics to be read together because study of both has the same purpose. This is the statement of Aristotle. What is the meaning of this? So the main purpose of ethics is the good for individual. That means, as I discussed, that if a person want to bring happiness in his life, he'll follow certain ethical or moral principle. That means justice or courage. So the ultimate goal is good for individual. Similarly, politics, the ultimate goal of politics is good for whole society. That means the teleos of both is good for men, and that's why Aristotle said that ethics is a branch of politics. This is very big statement. That means ethics is a branch of politics. Now, what is good for man? According to Aristotle, attaining happiness is the teleos or ultimate good for man. Here, happiness in human terms means people's capacity to reason and carry what they reason into practice. Hence, happiness is a virtue. As I said that if you want to be courageous in your life, so first of all you should have idea of that thing, courage. You will do logical reasoning that okay, if I'll induct a habit of courage in my life, I'll become happy. So what you will do, you will first of all induct that courage in your habit and you will practice it day by day, day by day, day by day. Then you will be able to achieve that habit of courage in your life. Though according to Aristotle's golden mean principle, that means still you are not going to achieve that courage 100%. It will be achieved almost 50 to 51%, and that will be good because absolute courage will let you die. Because absolute courage means आप blind courageous हो, आपको डर नहीं लगेगा किसी चीज़ से. आप सोचोगे कि हम पहाड़ से कूद जाते हैं ज़मीन पे, आई एम अ courageous person, I'll not die, but you will die ultimately. So he said that कि हाँ 100% courage भी possible नहीं है. You have to adopt the certain mean, certain golden mean through which you have to write. आपको उस रास्ते पे चलना होगा. So this is the whole theory of form or theory of idea. Now a person reason and being a just man provides him happiness. So he can become just man by reasoned action. This is the important line. That means मैंने कहा कि आप पहले रीजन करोगे फिर उसके बाद आप एक्शन करोगे. So by reasoning and then practicing that virtue and ultimately attaining that virtue and become happy. That means if you want to bring virtue of courage in your life, you will first think about it. That means courage will bring you happiness. It's different for every person. Someone think that justice will bring virtue in his life. We are talking about ethics. Please mind it. हम किसी और चीज़ के बारे में बात नहीं कर रहे हैं. That means कि हम चोरी करेंगे तो हम खुश रहेंगे या फिर we are talking about ethics. Ethics means certain characteristics, whether it's justice, impartiality, liberty, equality. तो अगर आपको लगता है कि या अगर आप liberty को pursue करते हो, then you will be happy in your life. Then you will think about it और उसके बाद आप उसको practice करोगे. Practice कैसे करोगे? मैं उसके लिए example लेता हूँ. अगर कोई आदमी जलेबियाँ बनाना चाहता है, एकदम परफेक्ट फॉर्म ऑफ जलेबी, तो वो क्या करेगा? ऐसा तो है नहीं कि वो पहले उसका कोर्स करेगा, कोर्स करेगा, जाके कोर्स करेगा किसी स्कूल में कि जलेबियाँ कैसे बनाए, वो क्या करेगा कि जलेबियाँ बनाएगा, डेली बनाएगा। एक दिन ऐसा आएगा कि उसको प्रैक्टिस करने के बाद अल्टीमेटली ही विल बी एबल टू मेक सम गुड जलेबीज। सिमिलरली अगर आपको राइटिंग अपने ठीक करनी है तो ऐसा तो है नहीं कि आप राइटिंग एक दिन में ठीक कर दोगे, यू हैव टू प्रैक्टिस ऑन इट। आप उसको लिखोगे, खूब लिखोगे, लिखते जाओगे, 2-4 साल 10 साल लिखोगे, उसके बाद हो सकता है आपकी राइटिंग अच्छी हो जाए। हाँ, मेरी तो 2 साल में अच्छी हो गई थी, सॉरी, jokes apart. So what is the conclusion? So his idea that practice and habit are essential in development of virtue is in accord with idea that the form of virtue is immanent within people's life and can be actualized only through real and concrete reasoning and action. जैसे कि हमने बताया कि वो virtue inside होती है, अंदर ही inherent होती है। जैसे कि प्लेटो ने कहा कि the meaning of justice is somewhere else, और केवल एक फिलोसोफर किंग ही उसको समझ सकता है। सो it's a radical and perfectionist kind of thing, idealist kind of thing. It's ultimate knowledge, talking about ultimate knowledge. But what Aristotle said, that virtue, that meaning of justice is inside you. What we have to do, you have to just think about it. Yeah, it will provide you happiness, whether it's justice or anything, any kind of virtue, any kind of ethical thing. You have to just think about it, and on the thinking you have to adopt some action. You have to pursue that, you have to practice that virtue. Then you will be ultimately understand the real meaning of that particular thing, whether it's justice, courage, equality, liberty, fraternity, ethicality, impartiality, compatibility, aptitude, whether probity, anything, integrity, anything, fraternity, anything. Ultimately you will be able to understand that. So here you will find the difference that प्लेटो टॉक्ड अबाउट अल्टीमेट नॉलेज, और केवल एक आदमी उसको पा सकता है, एक आदमी और ग्रुप ऑफ फिलोसोफर किंग्स। बट अरिस्टोटल के अकॉर्डिंग एवरी कॉमन पर्सन कैन अंडरस्टैंड इट, कैन डू इट एंड कैन अचीव इट. सो ही टॉक्ड अबाउट इन अ कॉमन सेंस and he talked about in a ultimate knowledge sense. So through reasoned action a man can attain the desired virtue, that is happiness. Since politics is the, now this is important, since politics is the collective form of reasoned action and state is the public arena to perform reasoned action, so Plato gave the theory of state on the basis of it. Now अगला टॉपिक क्या होगा हमारा, we'll discuss about theory of state. Why? Because जो पॉलिटिक्स होता है, पॉलिटिक्स is the collective form of reasoned action. Politics, the main purpose of ethics and politics is same, the good for man. So जो politics is always talked about will always work towards the good for man, and for that many people come together and they do reason for the society, they do logical reasoning. That means what provide goodness for the society. So politics is the collective form of reasoned action and state is the public arena to perform reasoned action. That means state provide you the platform to come and discuss. That means जैसे कि हमारा पार्लियामेंट में लोग डिस्कस करते हैं आपस में चीज़ों के बारे में. So state provide the platform for reasoned action. Or for that he gave the theory of state. Now ultimately we concluded the theory of form here, theory of idea. Now in the next video we will discuss about the theory of state. Then we will talk about theory of law, theory of rule of law, theory of revolution, theory of slavery, theory of justice. These are multiple theories, and then we will conclude the Aristotle in 1 or 2 videos or more. Okay. So I hope आपको वीडियो अच्छा लगा. मैंने आपको बेस्ट पॉसिबल वे में समझाने की कोशिश की. इवन I'll claim though it's highly, but सुब्रा मैम ने भी ऐसे नहीं समझाया होगा जैसा कि मैंने समझाया, या कुछ लोगों को बुरी लगेंगी ये बातें, बट स्टिल मैंने आपको बेस्ट पॉसिबल वे में समझाने की कोशिश की है. सो प्लीज़ लाइक दिस वीडियो, प्लीज़ कमेंट योर सजेशंस. थैंक यू सो मच फॉर लिसनिंग मी. हैव अ वेरी गुड डे. थैंक यू.